He spoke to us yesterday. Yesterday, his key message to the speaker was to put his foot down. Thank you very much for your time, Doc, and good morning to you.
Oh, good morning, Senator. How are you?
I am doing well, and I guess this is an outcome that you expected.
Well, I anticipated that on a true application of the Constitution and the standing orders, the Speaker would arrive at the most appropriate decision, and he did. Professor Mike Kufuor is increasingly proving himself to be a man who is not committed to the democracy of this country. Yesterday, or the day before, he tried to wriggle out of a situation in which he was the progenitor with, like I said yesterday, all kinds of arguments which were both petitio principii, running away from the question to a situation where he was introducing elements into the situation which has not been anticipated by the Constitution. His argument that it should be the political party whose interest is foremost, like I said, it's balderdash, because the Constitution takes into account the interest of the constituency. It creates the issue to be a matter of national interest. So any person, Ghanaian, can bring a motion to disqualify these people from sitting or presenting themselves as members of parliament.
But if you listen to the majority, the now minority leader, Alexander Afenyomakins, carefully, he calls it a conspiracy between the speaker and the minority.
You say what?
Alexander Afenyomakins calls it a conspiracy between the majority, the then minority, of course, the Ndc Caucus, and the speaker.
That's sheer political talk. There was no conspiracy. The speaker interpreted the constitutional provision and the standing orders in their proper context and applied them. In fact, I wouldn't say he interpreted, he applied them, because the provision is what we will call strict liability under criminal law. It's clear. It doesn't lend itself to any interpretation. So you cannot say that there was a conspiracy. Senator, one of the problems facing Ghana's democracy is fidelity to the law. And I'm glad that this decision has given the Supreme Court the opportunity to prove itself that it is committed to the cause of our democracy. It must keep in mind the principle of separation of powers and try not to injunct or interfere with parliamentary process, because parliament doesn't interfere with judicial process. That is the essence of the separation of powers. It should not become a handmaiden of a government that is increasingly showing itself to be a fascist government. President Akufo-Addo is a good candidate for impeachment. Seriously, he has breached his oath of office on so many occasions, showing that he is a disaster for this country. He is unfit to be president of this country. This man, it's okay, Senator. Let me leave it here, because if I have to go on, I think my BP will go up. Because when I observe how this guy has governed this country for the past 8 years, he's worse than Hitler. Hitler's crime was the effect of his policies. But Those policies were driven by a sense of nationalism. Akufo-Addo's policies and actions, fascist actions, are not driven by any sense of nationalism. It is tribalism and clanism. There's no Ghanaian national interest in his consideration.
But considering the effect of the policies pursued by Hitler, comparing him to Hitler is that not far-fetched?
That's why I said Hitler's crime was the effect of the application of his fascism.
Okay.
Killing more than 6 million people is the worst example of inhumanism. But like I said, it was dictated by a sense of nationalism that was probably misplaced. But here we have another fascist who is not even motivated by any sense of nationalism, acting to injure the common interests of Ghanaians everywhere. He is the worst nightmare Ghana would ever have. And I hope it will be the last time we have such a president.
And I'll come back to something he said. But before I come back, the decision of the NPP caucus is that they will not. In fact, they'll boycott the proceedings of Parliament until the Supreme Court makes a decision on the matter. What do you make of that move of theirs?
Well, then they will boycott to their detriment. If I was a member of Parliament and leader of the majority now, I will quickly move to impeach Akufo-Addo.
But Doc, you won't succeed, would you?
I beg your pardon?
Will that succeed?
No, but it will be on record.
Oh, to put it on record that such an attempt was made?
Yes. Not just an attempt. That impeachment procedures were started. Trump was impeached even out of office. That is what is expected of true commitment to democratic principles. Any nation that does not have politicians who show fidelity to the law will suffer the fate that we are suffering in Ghana.
So, your move will have been, starting the process of impeachment of President Kufuor.
Yes. Because he has breached his oath of office in so many instances and so many ways. He promised to protect the public purse. He has emptied the public purse. He promised to protect our environment. He has supported Galamsey to destroy our environment. He promised that he will distribute the benefits of development for every region and every district. He has said that if you didn't vote for me, don't expect me to come and develop your region. That's a breach. These are breaches that makes him a clear candidate for impeachment.
Of all the
he has resorted to state capture, breaching the independence and neutrality of the Electoral Commission by making appointments of persons who are clearly seen as party supporters of his MPP party. That's not fair to Ghana. Look at the action that was taken, I think, 3 days ago by the Electoral Commission, trying to disqualify the candidature of an MP on the basis of a writ that was filed more than 4 or 5 months ago on the basis that the injunction had not been vacated. Injunctions are not imposed by court for a very long time. They have a duration. And why you wait till the last minute before you issue an order of disqualification? Eh?
Of all of this, if we were to pick one that you think is actionable for impeachment, which one would it be?
Every act he has resorted to are all grounds for his impeachment. And he has breached the Constitution and his oath in so many ways and so many instances, so many actions and pronouncements.
Aside the issue of impeachment, how would you expect the NDC because of course they are also campaigning at the same time, how would you expect them to take advantage of this?
This is a matter for parliamentary presentation of a motion of impeachment. Simple process. I think you need a percentage of parliamentarians, I think 1/3, to move a motion of impeachment and get it accepted. And you start the process. Whether you get a 2/3 majority to make that motion become acceptable is another different matter.
See, I said I was going to take your view on one other thing. President Akufo-Addo has been talking about this whole matter of former President Mahama debating Vice President Dr. Mahamudu Bawumia. He thinks the former president should stop running away from the Vice President and debate him. What do you think? Should there be a debate?
Why doesn't Akufo-Addo stand still and respond to his responsibility of protecting our environment? Why is he supporting galamseyers to destroy our drinking water and our arable land? Why is he getting himself involved in a straightforward battle between Bawumia and Mahama? Why should President Mahama make Bawumia popular? Why should he rescue Bawumia from his clownish mode of campaigning? Like I said last time, bringing the clown, the one who keeps turning around, bringing the clown, bringing the clown, bringing the clown.
Doc, you think if the former president debates Dr. Bawumia, it will be a rescue mission for the vice president?
Yes, because his campaign is going nowhere. What has he said that is new? The man keep clowning around, said nothing sensible, trying to jump away from the effects of his bad governance or the bad governance of the Akufo-Addo Bawumia government and carve a new path for himself. But we know you. Yenimu fritite. We are Onipa Yentimi Jiuni.
And then you're saying the president is involved in Galamsey. He's supporting people to destroy our environment.
But of course, he is. What did he say about Akonta mining? Akonta mining is not, as I'm speaking now, involved in illegal mining. When the evidence provided by both the Minerals Commission and the Minister of Lands and Natural Resources and the Forestry Commission all point to the fact that Akonta mining was engaged in illegal mining in the reserve forest.
So you think that should be his focus? Deal with
Well,
it.
if you have no complicity, you wouldn't come and defend him. Like Mama said, when he becomes president, any minister or his appointee who flouts the law must go and face the music alone. He will not be a clearing agent, like Akufo-Addo has been.
So you're convinced that the president is complicit in what is happening to the environment. Then what do you make of those who say he should fight it then?
Oh, has he been fighting it? Since 2017, the state of our waters have worsened. The number of mining concessions have increased, not only quadrupled, but tenfold. You have this CEO of the Minerals Commission who constantly come on TV to do propaganda. All he does is propaganda. And we have licenses and we're giving them gold catchers and so on, all kinds of things. And yet, people are mining on our waters.
Doc.
You see, the Supreme Court has one good chance now with this writ to prove its fidelity to the law and to the process of our democracy. It should keep in mind the cardinal principle of the separation of powers. It should not interfere with parliamentary process, because both by law, that the Constitution and the standing of the Parliament is in charge of its own proceedings. The Ghanaian Parliament is legislatively authorized. That is, it has legislative authority. It may not have legislative supremacy akin to that of the British Parliament, but it has legislative authority. The only entity entitled to legislate, to make laws for us.
You're saying they have an opportunity?
Yes. And they must interpret Article 97 in the strict sense that it was meant to be. Purposive interpretation. I was a member of the Consultative Assembly, and the purpose was to protect the loyalty of the MP to his party and to his constituents. That's why we made that provision.
Mm. Well, Doc, always a pleasure talking to you.
One last thing, Senna.
Okay.
Since when did the word R-O-U-T-E, pronounced root, becomes a route? Since when? The digital world borrows an old English word pronounced as root to describe one of his own devices, the router, and then imposes the pronunciation on us. So everybody goes router, 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 router. What is this? The word is root, not route. So people better stop saying root. Communication must have a meaning. If you communicate with me, you must pronounce the word correctly so that I understand what you mean. Don't say route, because then I think there is a causation of a phrase somewhere, rather than route, a pathway.
See. Look, thank you for commenting on that.
Thank you, too.
Dr. Toneri is former Ghana ambassador to the Netherlands. I've been confused myself with that pronunciation. I've never said, I don't, why would this route? I've never understood what it meant. But in the meantime,